What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Tell Me More podcast, presented by Major League Success. I have Erin Rickman with me. She is a real estate agent at Key Realty. And Erin, I'm pumped to have you on today. Thanks so much for taking time out of your day to come on here and just share, your path and your journey into this business.
Yeah, I'm super excited that you asked me to be here. I like to say yes to every opportunity that comes my way. So, you know, thought this would be
What
cool.
what makes you have that type of mindset? Because saying yes to every opportunity sometimes gets you out of your comfort zone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, I'm actually I like to tell people about, you know, how I grew up and how super nerdy I am. And how introverted I am really deep down. So I have
Okay.
to really push myself to do things that would probably make other people like, "Oh my gosh, no, don't do that." Otherwise, I would just be stagnant, I would,
Yeah.
make a ton of spreadsheets about this business and, just look at the numbers and then be like, "Oh, that's great."
No, I love it. I love it. So that's kind of typically where we start, is the beginning.
Yeah.
What was life like for you, growing up and lead me up to, high school, college years.
Yeah, so, um, even high school, Aaron was very nerdy. Like, I didn't have any friends in high school, really. I mean, people knew who I was, and I knew I was kind to everyone. Everyone was kind to me as far as I remember. But I just wanted to do my schoolwork. Literally, my goal was get straight A's, like, do super well, do any, extra school learning I could do, and not have a social life. It wasn't really, a thing for me to wanna do anything outside of the schoolwork. That was my goal. So, I was junior high, I was on a competitive writing team, so that was, super
Yeah.
cool. Any, extra math test I could take. I took a Ohio history test in high school and got, an award for not missing any questions on that.
Oh, wow.
I love to learn and test and do things like that. And then I went to college. Actually, I wanted to take a gap year, um, but my parents were like, "We just bought you a car. You can't have it." I was like, "I bought my own car." So I started working when I was 9. Um, I mowed yards from 9 to 12. 12, I started babysitting, and I saved every dime I made and
Wow.
bought a car when I was 16. And then my parents traded it in, which was awesome because it was a 1989 Oldsmobile, and, they got me a nicer car for my commute to college. But then when I was like, "I just think I should take a year off," I was 17 when I graduated high school, so I was like, "I don't know what I wanna do with the rest of my life, how am I
Yeah.
supposed to decide now?" Like, "No, if you don't go, your car goes away." I was like, "Get me my old car back." So I went to, Ohio State is where I started and where I finished, but in between, I went to community college to knock out some credits for a little less on the pocketbook, but
Okay.
my major was French.
Wow. Did
Yeah,
you do French in high school?
a very little bit. Our French teacher didn't speak French in high school.
That it's like, I did 3 years of Spanish in high school, and I think Spanish 3 was pretty much like watching movies the whole time. Like, I don't know any Spanish.
We had a French foreign exchange student live with us my senior year, and,
Okay.
um, she went to speak to the French teacher because she was super excited, like, "Oh, yeah, someone that can, talk to me." Didn't understand her at all, and I was like,
Oh
"Oh,
my
man."
gosh.
So, so my grandma was French Canadian. She was the first person in her family to come to the United States, and she only spoke
Okay.
French when she came, and I was like, "Yeah, that'll be cool to learn," and I don't know. My major when I started was business. I switched to French. I studied in Quebec City. I studied in France and Dijon,
Wow.
and I had a great time, but
Was the
then
goal to like go into like the teaching side of things, or
don't
I mean,
wish I knew
because
what my goal was.
yeah, well, it's one of those things like, I went to college in 2007, right? So, I don't say my parents forced me and my siblings to go to college. My sister and I went. My two brothers didn't, and but it was almost like implied.
Yeah,
right? Like,
I think it
you
was
know,
that time. Like, I graduated high school in 2003, and it was like, "Yeah, you're
yeah.
going to college." Like, I
Yeah.
don't know.
It's so hard to figure out, what to do at, like you said, 17, 18 years old and pick that degree, that major that,
Yeah, and I
yeah,
really thought I would travel a lot. Like, I thought I was gonna do, like, international business and learn a language so that I could work for, I mean, there are some companies here in Ohio, like the limited brands, they all, had
yeah,
French speaking needs. Michelin Tires had some needs. There were, like, companies that I'd already targeted, like, I could do
sure,
this.
sure.
But, as this life goes, I met someone, we dated, we got married, we started having kids, and I really liked I traveled enough to know that I really like home. So,
Yeah,
it's like, I wanna
yeah,
be here, and French jobs here are teaching, Um, which would be fine, would have been fine maybe,
yeah.
but, it wasn't, like, exactly what I wanted to do.
Yeah. So you graduate with the French degree. Kind of, did you dive right into real estate? What was the path right after college?
No, I substitute taught a little to see if, like, do I want to maybe do that? That's really when I was like, "Ugh, oh, yeah, this is a lot," and, like, I'm really bad at being on time, like, timeliness is not, like, my best thing, and I was like, I'd have to be there, like, right on time, and people are counting on you, and, um, I don't know, it wasn't for me, so I
Yeah.
worked at just different jobs. I worked at a construction company, I worked at the Ohio Historical Society, um, I worked some places, and I was, like, always looking for a job. While I
Yeah.
was working, I was always looking for something that I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
Um, so then my mom's actually an agent. So my mom was an
Okay.
agent. Um, but I never really, like, thought much of it. At the time when I was working all sorts of jobs, my husband was doing mortgages. He was a mortgage loan assistant. So they were
Okay.
like, both of them, like, "Oh, you maybe see if there's a career that you wanna try." So I actually tried appraisal because that, like, speaks much more to
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
my nerdy side that, like, let's do some numbers and reports. That sounds great. Appraisal is so hard to get into. Have you ever heard this? Like,
So,
it's so hard.
yeah, I had Tom. Do you know Tom Connect?
Yeah.
So I had Tom on here before, and he talked about, building the appraisal business that he had, as well as the real estate side. Um, and yeah, the apprenticeship and all of that stuff that goes into it.
Yeah, so I reached out to, like, 30 appraisers to apprentice, and they were all like, "No, thank you. No, thank you." Many non-responses, like, many no thank yous, and I was like, "Oh, okay, well, I'll
So,
just get my real estate license, because I know I can do that, and then once I get into real estate, maybe I'll connect with an appraiser enough that they won't tell me no thank you." So, that was kinda how I got into selling side.
so growing up, there was no desire ever to get into the real estate side, into the
No,
business.
so growing up, I really wanted to run my own bed and breakfast or, like, hotel,
Okay.
and in college, I did run a Holiday Inn Express and realized that that's got to be, like, a career goal for maybe when I don't have any other life. It
Yeah.
is 24/7, like, not like we work, like, our phone's on us, like, you have to be in a physical location all
Right.
the time. So yeah, I just always, I mean, there's like a little notebook that I had in like 2nd grade of me, like, this drawing of a hotel that I was gonna own and operate and stuff. Um, so that was really like the
It,
path, and then I don't know where real estate really fits into that same line, but it
yeah,
does
it's just always interesting because I've had several people on, and where parents or family members have been in the business, and it's always 50-50. Always, like, growing up, I said I was never gonna get into real estate, and then obviously they end up getting into real estate, and then the other half is like, "Oh, yeah, like, I loved it. I loved, going out with my parents to help them, put flyers on doors and things like that," and
Yeah,
so
my
I'm
mom
always
didn't start
curious.
until I was, like, in high school or college, so even then I didn't really, and she was someone's assistant. She's on a team that they're
Okay.
super successful team, but she's really an assistant. She's really a background
Sure.
person. So it wasn't like I was even driven by that. So
Yeah. Yeah. So now husband, or husband at the time was
now husband. We're still on husband number 1. So
perfect. Hey, that's a win. So they're like, hey, give real estate a shot.
yeah. So we had
And
just had our second baby. Yeah,
okay.
baby number 2. And he was like, I mean, why not? Um, try it and see if you like it. And he was on the same lines, like I could become an appraiser and he thought I'd be good at that, really.
Sure.
Um,
Sure.
and since I couldn't get into it easily, like the barrier was a lot higher for that. And I was like, well, we'll do this and that'll be my stepping stone. But that first year I ended up selling 13 houses. So
Wow.
I was like, I kind of like this. Like, and there was a lot more, you know, being an introvert, it's not like I have to, it's mostly like in large crowds. Large crowds don't really excite me.
Yeah.
One-on-one, trying to really help someone get to where they want to be and like achieve the goal they're getting to. I love it.
Yeah.
I've always been good at customer service. I like customer service. It was a lot different than I thought it would be, I guess. Like the connection with people in that
Yeah.
environment.
Yeah. What year did you end up getting your license?
So it was the very end of 2013 is when I actually got licensed. So 2014 was my first full year.
Okay, awesome. And when you got in, I'm always personally curious, as far as, doubters, right? I mean, you have a family, like this is a family decision, right? Doubters, supporters, what really motivated you to kind of jump in, and did you jump in full time off the rip, or were you kind of doing another job and kind of trying to transition into
Yeah.
real estate?
So I was doing 2 other jobs.
Wow.
Like one was 29 hours a week or so. Um and then the other was just a part-time job, like going in and working when I needed to. And I just had, like I said, I just had my second baby. Like I was
Yeah.
literally, it was still, you had to go to class physically. Every single break I had to pump. Like it was a lot of work to get through the weekends with the baby not like right on my
Yeah.
hip. Um, and I worked another job for 2 years, 3 years. Yeah, my first 3 years I worked at least one other job, if not 2 other jobs. And I had a third baby during that time too.
Wow. Wow.
Um,
I
yeah,
can't even, I joke with people, I don't have any kids. But I've been in it 11 years, and I'm like, I don't know how parents do real estate and have kids, especially with sports when they get to that age. Like, I don't know how you guys do it,
yeah,
honestly.
it's
Like,
wild right now, especially right now.
but
Because
but
we're up to 4 kids now, so it's
yeah,
insane. Everyone's in
and,
activity.
hey, everyone can just tag along with you and help out, right? It's like,
They are good at it now.
you jump 20, 2013, 2014, jump in, other jobs going on, and you're still able to sell 13 houses, right, with the baby and everything. Like, what what did you focus on, that first year, and then kind of lead me into the first couple years, right? Was it always, the success? 13, out of the gate is a great year, right?
Yeah,
Especially, we were just talking before we started, the average is what, 4 6, per year
yeah.
per agent, whatever our industry standards are. But can you talk to us through, like, those first couple years? Some of the highs, some of the lows. How did you think about going about helping clients and getting clients?
Yeah. So I think the first thing was I joined an office right away, and my office manager was very supportive. Like, very much didn't give I didn't feel like he gave me a chance to not put myself out there. He's like, "Do you have letters written to people?" And I'm like, "Well, you told me to, but I don't have it done yet." And he's like, "No, like here's the stamps. We're mailing them. Like I need you to do this." If the phone rang, he'd be like, "Yeah, go ahead and answer the office phone." I'm like, "I know what I'm doing." And he's like, I mean, You'll be fine. And I do think having a really quick closing was super helpful. So I had a closing, like I joined the office and 22 days later, I closed my first house. So
Wow.
that, you know, I feel like there's a good snowball that can happen if you can
Yeah.
get it going. And it was so my office manager got a little fussy because he was like, that person called the office. I took the call. I went, I showed him one house. He wrote on it, like, we got it accepted, but then we're just closing it. Then the next office call I get, we see one house, they like it. It's sold. Like the next person I had gotten on some office generating lead source where I had to go interview and, up against 3 other agents, and they chose me. We listed the house, I got it sold. And he was like, "This is not how it actually works." And I was like, "Is it not?" But I do think, like, I always say that I've always been ever able to silence other people's opinion of me pretty easily. I was like I said, I was super nerdy, and I don't even remember anyone ever not being nice to me. And
Yeah,
there had to have been. Like, I had gap teeth, I was a teacher's pet, I wore glasses, like, I was like a target for sure, but I never, like, heard what other people say that's negative.
sure.
And I think that's just something I was just grew up with, and so I didn't have time to worry about, like, what people said or people telling me no when I got started.
Yeah.
My babies were 18 months and newborn, and then I quickly ended up, a year later pregnant with a third, and I had 2 other jobs, and my husband was working a few jobs, and I didn't have time to worry about, like, not making it. I only had time to just keep putting myself out there, answer the calls, and just keep hustling. So,
Yeah.
it was really just making those connections, sending out letting everyone know that I was in the business. I did buy leads my first year, which was a little scary, but my market was super small, and the leads were really cheap. It was like $40 a month to get in on an internet source, and I was the only one actually answering the phone. So it was great. I got so many just phone calls from there, and just doing what you say, I think really helped me in that first year. If I didn't have the answer right then, I'd tell someone I was going to call them back, and I
Yeah.
called them back. And they were like, "Oh man, we talked to 3 other people that said they were going to call us back and we haven't heard back." And I was like, "Oh, like I didn't even think of that as an option. Like I have to call you back. I said I was going to call you back. I
Yeah.
won't make any money if I don't call you back." So,
Yeah. Yeah. No,
it's that.
I cut my teeth on internet leads, and we've built our business, the team's business, around internet leads. And it's just that, right? It's, are you willing to answer the phone, right? When that lead comes in, are you willing to call that lead, and are you going to stay true to your word, right? And that's half of it right there. Is like you said, if I say I'm going to call you back, of course I'm going to call you back. But you'd be surprised at how many agents,
I'm not
they
surprised
just,
anymore. I
yeah.
was
Well,
surprised.
yeah. Yeah, but it's one of those things, like, we get busy, or we're always, I find agents are always trying to chase the next new thing, right? The next
Yes.
new lead, the next new client, the next new system, whatever it is, and they're not nurturing the people that have already come through.
Right. And trying to like I'm not I love creativity and I love that people are creative, but you don't have to create anything. Like there are things that work in this industry, and if you do those things, you will see success from doing those things that work. And
Yeah.
in the last 4 years, I've actually moved into with Key Realty and took a management role, even like passed my broker exam, did all the things, and have been coaching people for a couple of years to really help them. And now I'm not surprised. I mean, you can give people a plan and some of them will take it. And they're like, "Oh, I invited, anyone to have coffee on me today, and someone came in and they wanted to list a house." And I was like, "Yeah." And then you can tell 10 other people to do the same thing and only that one person does it. And you're like,
Yeah.
"Okay, well, if you want to know how I sell, it's because I put myself out there a lot and talk to a lot of
Yeah.
people. You
Yeah.
network, you make connection. This
Well,
is how
and
you."
and it's funny because, you said you're an introvert. You don't really be around people. Like, that's me. You know what I mean? Like, when I got into the business, it was all the disc profile, right? The
Right.
the the perfect salesperson is high D and I, and I tested out and I was like SC. I was like, well, this will get interesting, I guess,
Yeah, like, it's either gonna
but
work or it's not.
yeah, over the years, I just find like, it's not it. Your personality is your personality. You are who you are. In this business, you got to find what you enjoy doing, and as long as you enjoy doing something and you do it consistently, and you can throw in real estate into that, like, you're gonna be successful. For me, it was internet leads, right? You can't. I tell people all the time, you can't catch me at a networking event unless I know people. You can't catch me at a networking event. That's not in an environment where I would thrive, right?
Right.
Some people, that's where they thrive,
Yeah, that's not
and
me either.
that's
I go and I'm like I talk to the 2 people I know, and I'm like, "See you guys. Have a great
yeah,
night."
yeah. I'm on the corner, like the wall,
Right.
But I talk to agents all the time. It's just like, do what you're comfortable doing, and where you can throw any real estate mix on it,
Yeah,
right? At the end of the day, real estate's fairly simple in the sense of, um, you know, waking up today. Who do I need to speak to today that I haven't spoken to yet about real estate? And who do I need to speak with today that I've already spoken to about real estate that I need to follow up with? Right?
right.
I mean, that's real estate.
That's it.
So Aaron, walk me through kind of your next, walk me up to kind of current day as far as your business has gone. I know you mentioned, you moved into kind of a management role. You do have your broker's license. Kind of help training other agents, but kind of walk me through that growth process of your business.
Yeah, so, I sold for a while. Um, First year, did well, was the rookie of the year that year, then, the next year went well, the year after that, I was doubling my business. Then I ended up with a 4th baby, found a new path and a new brokerage to hang my hat at. And then everyone's like, "Oh, man, we need to have a manager in the area," and I'm like, "Why is everyone saying my name?" Like, I think it's just a very calm person, so people know that they're gonna get a pretty level, logical answer when they ask me questions. So, then the coaching came naturally. I do like to do that, and I actually just recently stepped back away from management because my business has continued to grow through this, and
Mm.
my children have continued to grow, and now they're in so many things. We have practice for at least 2 hours a night every night and activities every single weekend, so it's like you gotta pick and choose sometimes. So, for
How
now, I'm doing the my business.
Yeah, how do you manage that, right? With clients, and real estate, it can be 24/7 at times. It can seem that way, right?
Yeah,
But, for those that are thinking about getting into the business that maybe have small kids or just kids in general,
yeah.
how do you really navigate those waters of showings, right? Sports typically happening at night. If you're at practice for 2 hours, every single night, how are you showing houses? So can you kind of explain? Because, like I said, I don't have kids, so you know, I
You can go.
personally, I don't understand how you guys do it. I don't know understand how you guys navigate those waters, but can you kind of talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so I think it really helped. I mean, I don't know if anything really great come from my parents' divorce. It was my mom, like, really pounding it into our heads as we were growing up that you have to set, like, proper expectations in any relationship you're in, right?
Yeah,
So, no, do I tell all my clients the first time I meet them, like, "I got 4 kids, I'm super busy all the time." No, and I hate to use the word busy in general because I feel like people means that you don't have time for them. It's so I
sure.
typically just set up the expectations. I ask people what their schedule is, and then I look at my schedule and see how many times is this going to be a conflict, um, and what do I need to move around to make it work well. Also, I let them know like I'm going to try to be there for every single one of your showings, but when I can't be, I do have other people that will help me. I'm never afraid to refer someone if it makes more sense, or use another agent in the area to show some places for me. Um, I'm also really good at directing people to give them like 2 options that work on my schedule instead of just leaving it open-ended, like, "Oh, when can you see that property?" No, I'll be like, "Does Tuesday night at 6 or Thursday morning at 10 AM work better for you guys?"
Yeah.
So, I've always been this last 2 years have been the most difficult with that because properties just went so quickly that you
Right.
don't have as much freedom, but, you know, using other people to help is, you know,
Yeah.
realizing too that, like, spreading the wealth doesn't, like, take away my wealth, right? Like,
Yeah.
bringing
You know,
everyone up with you is the way to go.
it's one of those things I think a lot of agents struggle with is the delegation or the fear that they're not going to make as much money if they refer business out,
Right.
as if they're going to lose that. And I'm like, look, at the end of the day, how awesome would it be if you part of your business model was you had 4 referrals coming in every single month, and for those, you know, 15-minute phone calls on those 4 different people, you're going to bring in $1,500, $2,000, whatever the referral percentage is going to end up being, right?
Yeah.
Okay, hey, I just showed you how to make 6 grand for an hour of your time,
Yeah.
right? But they look at the not the 6 grand, they look at the total commission lost,
Right.
right?
But
And
it's not
not
a loss, it's a you have to look at it as a gain in everything.
right,
You
yeah,
could lose out on this entire transaction if you're not doing a good job for the client, you know? So,
for sure,
that's really the way that I always look at it, especially because I do know that I have a very full schedule. Like,
yeah,
there's not a lot of free nights, there's not a lot of free time. After and sometimes my kids roll with me to showings.
yeah.
A lot of no one's ever really been like, "Oh my gosh, your 4-year-old's so heinous to be here at the showing." Uh, so unprofessional. No, and especially because she knows how to sell a house. Like, she's way more outgoing than me, so she walks in and she's complimenting everybody, and the house is so beautiful, and, "Oh, could I live here with you?" Like,
So now we know the real secret.
yeah, have a kid that's really good at it. My kids are very, very supportive. They do get fussy because I'm on the phone a lot,
Right.
but they know, and with as fussy as they get, I was telling, actually Facebook world the story the other day. My 11-year-old, her teacher put something up on the smart board, and it was her email that popped up first, and there were, like, 3 Zillow emails that she saw. So she sent an email to her teacher right away and said, "Dear Mrs. Such and such, I noticed when you opened the smart board that you had multiple emails from Zillow. If you're looking to buy or sell in the near future, my mom's an agent and she'd be a great fit. Here's her phone number and name.
I love it.
You sent that to your teacher today?" And she was like, "Yeah." I was like, I'm gonna go get you some slime activator. Let's go." Like,
I love it. I
oh
think
yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, so they're so they help me a ton, even though that they take away a lot of the times that work really well for people to see houses.
Yeah,
They also
yeah.
enrich it a lot. I wouldn't have met nearly as many people either if I didn't have them
Sure,
out there all the time
sure. Yeah,
making me meet new people.
yeah, it's one of those things, there's opportunity everywhere, right? Are
Yeah.
you going to be intentional within, that opportunity? And, you know, uh, it, again, a lot of times we like to overcomplicate what, sales and real estate really is. And one of the easiest ways for you to bring up the real estate conversation is like, oh, hey, how are you doing, so and so? What do you think they're gonna say back to you? Oh, hey, like, how are
Oh,
you? Like, what are you up to? What's going on? Oh, great, I'm so glad you asked.
yeah, I know. This
Eh,
is what I coach people all the time too. I'm like, if you just start a conversation with someone, as soon as you say real estate, everyone loves to talk real estate. Whether the
yes,
market's up or down, everyone has to live somewhere. So they
yes,
wanna know more about what their opportunities are, and so they love to know that's what you do, and they wanna talk to you.
yes. I mean, it's you know 99% of the population are either renting or they own.
Yeah,
And the real estate economy, is one of the largest in the world, right? So, and we're both coaches, right? So it's like real estate never stops.
yeah,
Your approach may have to change a little bit, but it never stops. and
right.
and I'm in Columbus, but you're in a little bit smaller town than me, but
A little bit.
yeah, just a little.
Yep.
But it's one of those things where it's like, you know, Central Ohio, there's a lot of people here. It's
Yeah.
never going to go to zero.
No.
It's just whether or not you want to kind of change your approach and pivot a little bit and create conversations a different way.
And that's just it. No matter where you're at, how big or small the
Yeah,
town is, you know, there's always an opportunity to say hello to someone.
right.
And you never know where that's gonna lead, you know?
Yeah.
There's I talk to people all the time, but is that, like, my natural vibe? Probably not, like, just to say hello to people at the coffee shop or that are on the street or no, but, you do have to really think of yourself as a business, and
Yeah.
there are some hours I give myself off, like, I could do my thing and be
Sure.
silent and sit in silence, but when I'm on, I'll talk to everyone.
Yeah. I love it. Aaron, I want to kind of move kind of into the future now and kind
Yeah.
of look to kind of see where some of your goals are and where you want your business to end up. What's something that you're looking to accomplish in the next 12 months?
Yeah, so I'm personally, working on some investments now, buying some rental properties, working with a couple of other folks that were trying to really grow our investment portfolio, and then, stepping away from the management has given me a little bit more time to focus really on my residential sales, so really going back to what was successful for me before. I always tell people that when I'm coaching, so I'm taking my own advice and, doing the things that work and doing them in, uh, higher capacity so that
Yeah.
I start building even more business again.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. What's a 5-year goal for you?
5-year goal, that's a big one. So, building bigger. So I personally want to be like where I need a team. Um, So hopefully my goal, I'm working on getting to like I like to get settle into like 40 to 50 transactions a year for
Yeah.
myself. That's where I know that I'll be comfortable and still be able to enjoy because I haven't yet missed, a game or a performance or anything. And I'd like to really keep that going. So
Yeah.
40 to 50 a year is really great for me and then be able to refer out to my team. So I help. I'm in 4 MLS systems because of where I live. It's crazy, but
Hopefully one day they all combined, right?
oh, wouldn't that be just beautiful if we could look everything up in one spot? But,
Yeah.
I'll probably have, like, a Cincinnati direction team, like a South team, a
Hmm.
West team, and a North team in the next 5 years to really at least have 1 assistant or a teammate in each of the spots so that, like, when I can't handle
Yeah.
they're there, And
Yeah.
then on the investment side, it's just gonna be keep building that so that we have, you know, I'm hoping to have 20 to 30 units myself by the 5-year mark, so
That's awesome. We're my wife and I are getting into that side of things right now as well.
yeah,
We're building a new build to basically just spec out and
that's cool.
compete with the builder when it's done,
Yeah,
essentially. And we're building an Airbnb down in Texas.
cool. So you're going far
Looking.
away to start?
Yeah, it's interesting because one of the agents on our team, she had Airbnbs, and when I talk about it to, agents and doing what you enjoy doing, whether it's your personality or just in your personal life, she was already doing Airbnbs, and we sat down and she started putting together classes, weekend classes, to teach other people that wanted to learn how to invest with
Oh, that's
Airbnbs.
really cool.
And through that, she has been, looking at different places across the country and all of those things. And, at one point she had like 13 or 14 referrals out, from, people here in Columbus going out of state to buy these Airbnbs. And there's this town on the Gulf Coast called Crystal Beach outside of Houston, kind of
Okay,
right by Galveston. Anyways, my team lead bought one down there. I flew down there with them to help them get it set up, and now they're building a short term rental community, basically. And there's maybe 6 or 7 from our team that bought in this community, that are building in this community. So we're just like taking the Columbus house team from Columbus, and we're all going to go on vacation together, like one week out of the year to this Airbnb spot. And
Yeah.
so, it's one of those things where, if you trust your advisors, right? Like if a client really trusts us, then all should be good,
Yeah.
right? So, but no, I'm right there with you on the investment side. It's one of those things where real estate's a beautiful thing, when you do it right. So,
Yeah. That's
what do you
exciting.
what do you think you need to put in place in order to kind of help you set up your, north, south, east, west kind of team pods or agents?
Yeah. So basically, I do an evaluation every year. Back to my nerdy self, I set up a business plan, and when I put it in motion, you know, it's been only, I mean, I still taught a management class today, so it's been really like 2 weeks since I've moved out of that
Oh,
role.
wow.
Yeah. And I've already like really started hitting like letters again. I Personal mail is like so undervalued, you know, crazy undervalued. And so far, I think every letter I've sent out has gotten me a direct message, and that makes your algorithm make them see everything I do a whole lot more often.
Yeah.
So doing that again and going back to where I started with a few phone dialer systems and internet leads again, and really starting to build my business out the same way I started the first time because it
Yeah.
worked, and
Yeah.
that'll get me there.
There's a guy by the name of Ryan Stewman who I follow. He's out of Dallas, Texas, and he's not a real estate agent. He used to be a loan officer. His story's wild, but back in the day, he used to help loan officers and real estate agents build their business through social media. And this would have been like, you know, '07, '08, '09, when like social media wasn't what it is today,
Yeah.
right? But he talks about this, and it makes sense when you actually think about it. To your point of mailers and notes and letters and those types of things. I mean, think about it, right? Like, how many emails do we get every single day that we never even open? Does email marketing work? Sure, but what are those open percentage rates these days? Probably pretty low. Then you think about phone calls, right? Do phone calls work? Yes, but how many times do you answer a phone call where you don't know the person coming through? As agents, we probably answer higher than the normal
Yeah.
person, but there's times like if I don't know a name or a name doesn't pop up, I just like go to voicemail, and then I determine if I want to call them back or not, right?
Yeah.
And now text messages, right now everyone's doing message marketing, but guess
Yeah.
where the marketing has fallen off, which is the mailbox.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
'cause,
if you guys,
even from, like, Domino's, you're like, "Oh, I can get a deal tonight because 'cause they're texting me about it," like.
yeah, so like the mailbox, like you said, like, people are sleeping on that, going back to some of the old school basic ways of staying in front. Now, I think you have to do all of the above,
Yeah.
but highest open rate, those types of things, if someone gets no one, we only get birthday cards and holiday cards, right? That's pretty much all we get. You put something in a card format, guarantee that they're opening it.
Yep. They are.
They're not
They're
they're not
telling me
throwing
they
it
are.
away.
They're like, "I got a card from you. I'm so excited." I'm like, "I'm
Yeah,
so glad this makes you so happy." And honestly, just being genuine about it too, though, like,
yeah,
I'm not sending anything about my business right now. I'm just building relationships with people that I already know that we've only ever connected on a social forum. Um, you know, those people that I see standing out, I'm just gonna let them know that I see
yeah,
them, and I think that's great what they're doing. So I don't wanna just be your Facebook friend. Like, when I see you at the coffee shop, especially, like I said, I'm a small town, so I do see everyone. I want you to feel comfortable to say hi to me. Like,
yeah,
let's really actually connect, not just
yeah.
like each other's posts.
No, I love it. I mean, you're spot on. You're spot on. Aaron, I've been adding this question in lately. Um, what's a legacy goal for you? What's a goal that you want to leave behind after you're no longer here?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Especially think about this a lot more frequently as you get older and like actually start dealing with that in real life. Um, but I just want people to remember those relationships really that I built, and my kids to know that that no matter who we are, because like I'm sure you've worked with lots of people that are nothing like you.
Yeah.
Just knowing that there's always a way to connect with everybody out there. I always tell my kids, like, you know, just be kind and find the things that you like about other people. I have a couple of introverted kids and a couple of extroverted kids. And, the introvert really, it wears them out to be around people like their sisters. And they're like, well, like, how do I do that? I'm like, you just find the thing that you actually like and connect with them and just appreciate that and appreciate that they're different than you. I try to never be afraid to reach out to those people and say, like, you're doing great. Can you help me? Because that's what so that we're all rising up together.
That's awesome. Erin, I want to be respectful of your time, and I always like to end with this last piece, and it's if you could give our audience just one piece of advice that maybe you wish you had in the beginning of your career that you just always give out now, to agents just in general, what would that be?
Just make genuine connection with everyone you can. Really, that's those connections. Like we said, it's you never know where it's going to lead. You're in Texas now. Like you wouldn't have been there if you didn't talk to some people. So
Yeah.
lead you in good paths most of the time. Just saying hi to people.
Yeah. You just like you said, you just never know who that person may lead you to, or the business that may come from it,
Right.
or the opportunities, right? I mean, it doesn't even have to be real estate. It could just be different opportunities down the road.
Yeah, you never know. Just could be just something that you find that you enjoy. Like, never had this hobby before, but now you have a stress reliever because you met someone who plays pickleball, or like
Yeah,
trying everything. Don't be afraid to say yes to the opportunities.
for sure. Erin, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your journey. Those that are watching, her phone number is at the bottom of the screen. If you guys are a real estate agent, you want to pick her brain, you want some coaching. Well, I know you're getting out of the coaching side, but I'm sure
No,
you're
I'm not
still
getting out of coaching. I'm getting out of managing. There you
management. There you go. If you guys want to connect, to pick her brain on real estate, make sure you hit her up. If you guys are looking to buy and sell, make sure you send her a message, give her a call, shoot her a text. But Erin, for those that are listening in, what is the best way to reach out to you?
Yeah, you could always call or text me at 740-851-9247, or check out soldwitherin.com, or that'll get you to me.
Awesome. Erin, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your journey and your story. If I can ever do anything for you, please let me know.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah,
All right, see ya.
bye.